Okay, finally, I'm live. I don't know what was happening with my computer, but it was streaming and streaming and streaming. And anyway, just took a little while for it to come on and decide to make me go live today. Good morning. I'm Lorraine Sish, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the Baltimore area. My little town is Catonsville. I'm right outside of Baltimore. And I am happy to bring another episode of Coffee and a Card. I usually come live Friday mornings. Many of you know that and are regulars. I appreciate that. So when people start hopping on, please give me a little shout out, say hello to me and the group. A lot of you probably recognize each other's names by now. We're like a little community. I like that. We can share our Friday morning, kick off the weekend, and have a little cup of whatever. Whatever you are drinking. I do have some coffee today. It's not always coffee. Sometimes I do my tea, but take whatever beverage you like and join me. I hope you will enjoy our project today. It's not a card, but it's a treat box, a little gift basket, little treat basket for Easter or just spring if you don't celebrate Easter. It's just a fun little thing for any time of the year. So, yep, here's my coffee. Cheers. Have a sip, and we'll give people just a couple minutes to hop on. Let me see what some of my comments are. Say good morning. Here's Nadine. Good morning. Ready to make some treat baskets? All right, go for it, Nadine. Nadine saw me make some of these before, so hopefully she can whip up a few more to hand out to some special people. Hi, Patty. Nice to see you. Shirley, good morning. Welcome back again. Cloudy and PA. Yeah, same here. It was raining when we woke up. It's supposed to just be cloudy all day, but no, it's okay. Spring flowers need the rain, right? April showers bring May flowers, and there are a lot of things blooming: the daffodils, hyacinths, the flowering trees I had mentioned in Maryland. Oh my gosh, they are just beautiful. Like my daughter likes to say, Maryland does spring very well. Very colorful display. A lot of the flowering trees, the cherries, the crab apples, pears, whatever. The magnolias. There are two kinds of magnolias. Did you know that? When I lived in New York, I only knew of the kind that bloomed in the spring that have the smaller flowers. And then when I saw these huge trees here that had these really big, shiny, waxy leaves, I was asking my friend, I said, "Oh, what kind of tree is that?" She said, "Magnolia." I said, "No, it's not. That's not a magnolia. That's not what I used to see in New York. They used to be some of the first to bloom also." But sure enough, I learned that's a southern magnolia. The southern magnolias are huge and big, shiny, waxy leaves and those big white flowers. Um, we had a magnolia stamp, a couple of magnolia stamps. I used to have a card right over there with it, but that's okay. I think you know what it is. But anyway, so welcome everybody. I see people are hopping on. I hope you have a wonderful day and a good weekend. Hi, Joanne. Hi, Debbie. Good morning. Um, and no matter the weather, just make it a sunshiny day in your heart, in your mind, in your attitude. That's okay. And love what you do. I'm wearing my love shirt today. Love, love, love. My turquoise on my cup sort of matches. I got my turquoise earrings on. Okay, color coordination, right? That's one thing Stampin' Up! Is the best at. So, hello, Elizabeth. Good to see you on. Good to see you on. Yeah, Elizabeth and Joanne and Patty are some of my downline team. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Our team is the Daisy Bunch, and we just have a lot of fun helping support each other and sharing what we love. What we love. Love, love, love. Okay, so I'm going to take another sip of my coffee and we're going to get started. If you're stamping along, crafting along, you need a 6x6 piece of designer paper. You need a paper, your trimmer and scorer. You need a pencil, a ruler, stapler. If you have a 1-inch hole punch, that's fine. If not, you can do it later, or you can. You have other options, but that's okay. And of course, you need your adhesive. And I'm going to use a new set of paper. So hold on one second. Put this aside so I don't spill it. Some of you have been there to see that. But I'm telling you, when I knocked over my coffee, that one day, it was amazing. It was like there was this force field around. Somebody was looking over my stuff. Nothing got ruined. Not my shirt. No projects on my table. No products. Nothing. Even the carpet was not ruined, even though it all ended up in my lap. I have a plastic thing covering my carpet underneath me. Otherwise, those little glue things kind of get pilly on the carpet, and it's not good. Not good. All right, so I'm going to switch the camera around, and we're going to make these beautiful treat baskets. Let me show you one so you know where we're going. Okay, this is one of my favorites here. I love these because of the pleated look over here and how it looks rounded and more like a real basket is, so, and they're a little bit bigger than some of the other treat baskets I've made in the past. They hold quite a bit of things, and you can use them with any designer paper that doesn't have a particular direction to the pattern, or maybe certain ones, if it does have a certain direction. If it's small, maybe it won't matter too much. But I use the 6x6 DSP. That is the same pattern. You can get this pattern in all the family colors, the color families, I should say, or the In Colors Stampin' Up! Always has a dedicated pattern that you can get all the paper colors in. So this one, I just thought was pretty with the flowers there. On the inside are stripes, and even though the stripes do go, they can go either horizontal or sideways. It doesn't really matter if it's inside. And I use the contrasting stripes for the handle. And this is what I use the little 1-inch circle punch for, to kind of hide where my strap overlaps the basket weave. We'll call that the weave, even though it's just kind of layered. And then if you want to really make it cute, you can add a little focal element. This is coming from the Storybook Moment designer paper that comes with a little ephemera, all these cute little animals. I mean, any of these would look so cute on there, right? Or if you have, a bigger flower or a butterfly, different ways that you can decorate that. But, you can always do that later. So I'm going to show you the basics of making the basket, and then I'll show you different options just to give you an idea of the size. First of all, I put a little bit of the green tissue paper in there to look like grass, less messy than all the little grass hanging around. But I have some Hershey Kisses here in the nice springtime colors. 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 10 right there, and you can see that it's still room for more. 13. Okay, there's 15 kisses, and it pretty much just comes to the top. So that gives you a perspective on the size, right? Okay, good morning, Patsy. Oh, so nice to see you on today. Welcome. Hi, Pat. Good to see you on too. Hey, Karen. Good morning. Oh, my goodness. Wow, you are up early. It's windy, huh? Does that make you not sleep? Was that bothering you? I hope you have a great time. Nice to see you on. Did not expect you to be on this morning, but welcome. Always welcome. Another Daisy Bunch member. And Michelle, too, part of the team. Good morning. Good morning. All right, so I'm going to be using Floral Impressions. This is a new online exclusive. And like the name implies, it has a lot of floral elements here. Now, if you do notice, a lot of them do have a direction. Let me turn it this way. Going, like the flowers are growing up this way. But I think, although I'm going to choose one that does not have a direction, I think because these are kind of so small and random, that if you did choose one of these, I think it might be okay. Because what you have to consider is when you make your basket, it's going to be curved like this. So that means one side might look okay. The other side might look upside down. But yeah, I don't know. It's up to you and your pattern. But I am going to use this one in the back that obviously does not have a direction. Okay, so, and I hadn't done a basket yet with purples, so perfect. I did a lot of them. I'm going to show you a lot of options here. And the back is just a stripe, like looks like Morse code, dashes and, and dots. Let me show you up close. Here you go. All right, so we're going to cut this down 6 by 6. And when I first saw this basket, I was thinking, oh, that looks really tricky. But you know what? It really isn't. There is a little bit of measuring and scoring and cutting, but once you do that, it really is so easy, and you'll be whipping these out in no time. All right, so I'm starting my 6 by 6. Nice and easy there, right? This is so pretty. I love these colors. Let me see what those colors might be on here. Well, obviously garden green and old olive and the leaves, fresh freesia, and pretty in pink and strawberry slush are all within these color palettes here. That would be the strawberry slush. That's the returning color. That's going to be the new in color. And so really pretty. All right. So now there's a pattern here of how we're going to cut this and score this. I have this here, and I will post this on my Facebook page, and I will send it off in my newsletter. If you haven't subscribed to my newsletter, go to stampwithlorraine.com, and you can sign up from a link in the sidebar or pop-up window. And when you do sign up, you'll get a free tutorial for a fun fold card. Okay, so my black dotted lines are going to be what we're going to score first. And then we're going to score and cut on these red lines. And I'll show you how to do it all. I'll tell you the measurements. And then we're going to draw these little triangles here and remove these triangles here. All right, so it looks a little complicated, but it really isn't. Just think of the process, and you don't have to really memorize too much of the measurements. So that's kind of what I do. Kind of think of how to do it. It's like, teaching somebody to fish, right? All right, so we're going to score at 1 7/8. And good morning, Joan. Good to see you. Hi, Karen Bronner. KB, right? Is that what we said we should call you, KB? Okay, Karen Brown and Karen Bronner. Okay, and 4 1/8. So 1 7/8 and 4 1/8. That's going to divide this 6 by 6 into thirds. Now we're going to turn it around the other way. So then we're going to get kind of that tic-tac-toe pattern going on. 4 1/8 and 1 7/8. Okay, so this is what we've done here. And then we turn it and do the same thing. Okay, so now we have our tic-tac-toe. Now we're going to score where I have these red lines. We're going to score here. We're going to skip the middle section and continue the score down here. Okay, if you're doing your scoring on one of your on your trimmer scorer, then it's easy to do that. Just score down, leave it there, pick up your scoring blade, and then continue down here. If you're using a scoreboard, it might be a little harder to find that spot down below, but you can always turn it and then do the same thing on the other side. So whichever method you have is a good one. Okay, so we're going to, now this might be a little hard to see with the pattern. Maybe if I turn over, you could see those score lines a little bit better. I could bend them a little bit so that you see where I'm going. This, all right. Okay, you see how we scored that. And then we're going to now score twice in each of those corners. So I'm going to go to 1 1/4. Oops. You know what I'm going to do? I don't want to confuse you too much here, but I'm going to use this side of my trimming my channel to my trimmer, just because it's easier to hold the bigger part here. If you don't have it over here, then measure from this side. So we're going to score at 5/8 and 1 1/4. So it's just easier for me to go this way. 5/8. That's in between a half and 1 3/4. And we're just scoring down to the first score line. So this middle section is going to remain untouched. I'm going to score down to that score line. I can barely see it here in person, so I know you're not going to see that on the camera. And then I picked up my scoring blade and I put it at this next score line. And I'm going to continue the score down here. Okay, so now I'm going to move it over to 1 1/4 and do the same thing again. Score just to that first horizontal score line, pick it up, and do the same thing on the bottom section. So now if I turn that on the other side, maybe you can see that I've scored it like that. Okay. All right, so I did that. I'm going to just flip it and do the same thing on the other side. Flip it around completely. 5/8. Down to the first line. Pick it up. Score the bottom section. Move it over to 1 1/4. Do the same thing. Stop at the score line. Pick it up. Do the bottom. All right, so I'm going to bend this a little bit so you can see what it looks like. Okay, see how I've done those score lines, so I've left the middle free. All right. Okay. Karen Broder, KB, gotcha. I like our familiarity here. Keep it casual, keep it friendly. Okay, so now we have to draw these triangles here. All right, so with your pencil, in the same direction that you did your scores, okay, these little score lines are vertical. I'm going to mark 3 inches. I'm going to do it on the back side, but you could do it on the front, whatever is easier to see. 3 inches at the top, 3 inches at the bottom. And one thing that I really love about the Stampin' Up! Trimmer is you have measurements up here, you have measurements down here. So it is easier to see, okay, 3. I put this extra tape up here because I like, when I put this up here, I like seeing the measurement up there rather than, having to look here. So that's just what I did. I bought a sticky backed metal tape, and I just cut a piece of it for there. Okay, but you have your measurements down here so you can make sure you're lined up well. Okay, then with your ruler, like my diagram shows, you can see it better here. Here's my 3-inch mark. Here's my scores. I'm going to draw a line from this corner where these original score lines intersect. I'm going to draw a line from there to the 3-inch mark and from there to the 3-inch mark. Okay, there to there. You can erase these later. Do it lightly. If it's on the inside, it's not going to be seen anyway, but you can decide. If you're a little OCD like me, you might just erase it anyway. It's funny. Sometimes I'm OCD about things, and other things it's like, oh yeah, whatever. And I'm really a mix of both. I'm going to go here. Good morning, Joyce. Joyce Dupont, and it was coming out weird. Sorry, Joyce. My brain was like combining both your first and your last name. All right, now you need your scissors to do some cutting. I love my snips. Not only do they have a nice covering for that really sharp point, but they have a really sharp point where you can get right down to the nitty gritty with your cutting. So we are going to cut all these score lines here. And we're going to cut that triangle. So these parts are going to end up being removed. Okay, so I'm going to start down here at the bottom. So you're going to be left with some tabs here, and that's what's going to make our woven look to the basket. So should we just cut all those tabs? Okay, just up to the score line because that's what you did. And now we're going to cut those triangles away. All right. If you don't like what's left of those little pencil lines, just give it a little erase. Like I said, on the inside, you're not going to see it. I don't know, it's just one of those things. Okay, same thing on the other side. And cut that up there. All right, so that's what we have. Cut away those triangles. And don't throw these away, because if you're like me, you'll make something fun with them. You can make fun little designs like this for a card, that on a card, or maybe different kind of pattern. Oh, I don't know. Well, let me show you what I did with some of my other ones here. These were leftovers from my other baskets. Made a pattern like I just showed you. You can alternate your pieces like that. Or you can just keep them all the same, not flip the design, the colors over. Okay. Or if you do many of these, like I did them in all these colors, you can kind of mix and match them. Put these on the front of a card, add a sentiment across there. You've got a cute little springtime card, springy looking card. And or you can keep similar colors together. Kind of do stuff like that. So don't throw those little pieces away. Do something fun with them. Make a really nice card. Let me pile these back up again. All right, so it's time to put our basket together. Let's burnish the score lines. Now, start from the outside edge, and you want to make sure that this piece lines up with this edge nicely. It's going to have a tendency to kind of fall inward. Just make sure it's lined up straight with the edge there. And then from there, you can make sure these all line up nicely. Just give that a nice score. Score that. Do the same thing here, starting on the outside one so you know it's straight. Okay, just make sure you line them all up nicely. This is so pretty. I love this. And I love it with that in the background. That would make a really pretty card. If I had just pieces of this with that in the background. Nice. All right, let's do this again. I'm going to flatten those out of the way. Start with the outside ones. Make it straight. I'm just going to push it with my fingernail for a minute. And then line up the others. Okay, there you go. And then same with this. Start with the outside. And the next one. So pretty. So pretty. Okay, so now you need your glue. Have that ready. Oh, no, sorry. I'm going to use stapler first. Now, my friend Nadine did this with me the other day, and she said it was helpful to have a little glue first and then staple it. It could be a little wonky trying to get your stapler in there. So whatever works for you. But I'm going to just show you how to get these for that pleated or woven look. Starting with the outside ones, you're going to bring them in together and you're going to overlap them slightly. Now, take note of which one you have on the bottom because you want to alternate right, left, or left, right. Doesn't matter which one goes first, just as long as you alternate, because that's going to give that woven look. So I'm going to take maybe the right one first and overlap it just a little bit. It doesn't matter where yet. You just want to gather them all together. So right, left, and the next one, right, left. It's kind of helpful if you pull this triangle kind of out of the way. And then right and left again. So that's what's giving you the shape to that basket. Isn't that cool? Hi, Lydia. Another Daisy. Good morning. That's okay. We're just kind of starting. Well, we're partway through, but you'll catch up. It's okay. All right. So then you have time. Like I'm just holding them, those edges together. You have a little, you can kind of make, adjust them a little bit if you want to make sure these areas here look even with the other side. To be honest, I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference because, weaving, especially with this pattern on here, if it's a little off, you're not going to notice it. But one thing that I do want to look for is that this is straight up here. I mean, obviously you don't want things sticking up, right? So I'm just going to make sure that I have all of those edges together and that those outside ones are looking good. Now I'm going to put a staple in there. And I know from experience, I'm not going to put my staple straight across because if it goes straight across, it might not catch this top part, this top corner. It might span the corner and then that piece might just slip out. So what I like to do is I'm going to come in on an angle and I'm going to make sure that my staple goes this way and it's going to catch all of those little tabs. Just fine. I'm holding it with my left hand and I'm just going to come in and grab it with the staple and push it down. So you see the angle that I went with my staple there. So now that's holding them all together. Now, if you feel you want to put a little glue on there, you have a little wiggle room with the glue before it dries completely, then it might hold enough for you to then just get your staple in there without your other fingers having to hold it. All right. So now once you have that, then this triangle can go up and it's going to, you can glue that or you can staple it as well. If you're confident with your glue or you're not going to put anything heavy in here, then sure, just use the glue. I sometimes like to just use the stapler anyway because it will, just hold together a little bit better. Now you can, of course, cut that little tip off. It's going to be covered by the handle anyway, but look how cute that is. This flower basket, cute, so pretty. So pretty. I'm just going to put another staple in there because it really doesn't matter. And of course, you'll probably get it in the spot where the other stapler is not. All right, so here we go. We're going to do the other side. Let's move this guy out of the way. And we're going to start one side first and just alternate. Right, left, and the middle one. Right, left. And then the bottom one. Right, and left, just so that they're all meeting in the middle. Give that a little staple. Bring up the center. Oh, of course, I hit the other staple. All the baskets I've done in the past, I haven't hit the other staples yet. Of course, now I do. That's okay. Just do it again. Go a little lower. Here we go. Just cut off that tip there. Boop. And you have your cute little basket. You can even just leave it like that if you like. But now we're going to put a little handle on there. So this is where you need your second piece of 6x6. You're not going to need the whole thing, but you do need to cut strips for your handle. So for your handle, you're going to have 1/2 inch by 6. your DSP. And, well, I didn't, did I tell you to bring a coordinating cardstock color? I don't know. Since I have a lot of olive in here, I'm going to use a little bit of old olive to put on there. I think that will be a neutral color for my basket. There are these other colors in there, but I think the old olive would look really nice. So, excuse me 1 second while I grab a piece of that. All right, here we go. I keep my scraps in a little cello bag just tucked into the package of my full sheets so that I can see, okay, do I have that in the scraps or do I have to cut a full sheet? That way it's just all in one place. I don't have to say, oh, I'm going to look in this drawer where my scraps are. Nope, I don't have anything there. So now I have to go to the other closet or other shelf where my cardstock is and look for a whole sheet. I like keeping them all together, but everybody has their method, and you do whatever works for you, right? Oh, thanks, Joan. Like and share. Yes, please, please, please. It really, really helps. Facebook and YouTube promote my videos. Okay, so this is now going to be 3/4 of an inch wide by 7. All right, and we want it just a little bit bigger than the cardstock. I'm going to cut my 7 and then cut 3/4 wide. Yeah, I think I've mentioned this once before. Speaking of liking and sharing, thank you for bringing that up, Joan. That's very kind of you. I've noticed that a lot of people who effectively are following me on Facebook aren't official followers according to Facebook. When I look at the list of my followers, there are a lot of people that I see commenting and staying in touch, but I don't see your name as an official follower according to Facebook. So that might mean that, when you're looking at one of my posts, if you see the little button that says follow, or maybe on my actual page, you have to click like, and it should somewhere show that the words following when you're there. So if you don't see that, depending on what device you're on, it's in different places, but you can check out and see if you are officially following, and that helps me. I know it's just a little click for you if you don't mind. So it really does help me out, because then Facebook will promote me out to other people and we get to meet new stamping friends. So I do appreciate that. All right, so because this is going to be curved, look how pretty that is. Oh my gosh. We do want to curve it a little bit. Okay, you want to break down those fibers so it bends nicely. We do that with the cardstock and the DSP, and then we're going to layer that on top. Now I could use the green for the handle, or I can use the floral side. What do you think? Give me a vote. What do you like? Do you like the floral or the green stripe? Kind of looks like straps, doesn't it? That goes across as a contrast to the basket, and it matches the inside. Give me a little vote. Let's see what you all think. I'll show you one more time. Here's the green. And here's the floral to match the pattern on the outside. Okay, I see 3 votes for floral. Okay, I think we're going to go with the floral. Thanks for chiming in, guys. I just like to run things by you sometimes. Number one, I like to hear your opinion, and that just helps me make a decision. Could go either way. It's not going to look terrible, right? Okay, so don't forget to give that a little curl first, because if you glue it straight without breaking down the fibers and curling it a bit, then it's going to be very difficult to bend, and it might actually have a crinkled or folded look to it. Okay, so this way it's kind of already matching up that little curve. Okay. All right. So then what you could do here, if you wanted to, before you stapled this triangle up, you could have just stapled it all together at the same time, which is one thing that I have done in the past as well. But you don't have to really worry so much about that. But like I said, if you wanted it stronger to hold all those kisses or something heavier, then definitely staple it. I probably should have done that, and I think I might have done that in the past, but whatever. So I'm just going to glue it for now, and I'm just going to hold it there, and then we're going to cover that end with our circle dot. Okay, so that's just going to cover that up a little bit. I like how, I mean, this could be as far down as you want, but because you have a 1/2 inch extra of the cardstock, you can use the end of your DSP as your guide to how low to go on each side. So I'm just making the top of the basket even with that DSP there, but okay, it doesn't have to be. And you know what? I am going to staple this. Okay, I know it's going to be sturdier that way. But if that's difficult for you to get in there, and like I said, I probably should have stapled it before putting up that corner, but it can go either way. I'm just going to trim this down a little bit here. Put that there. Give that a little staple. And then I'm going to take, Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell this punch anymore. This is one of those old, we called it a whale tail, a whale-shaped punch. But it's easy for me. I keep this handy whenever I need a 1-inch circle really quickly. So then I'm going to take some of my old olive again, or you can take whatever color works for you. I'm going to punch 4 of these guys out. 1, 2, go on the side, 3, 4. So I'm going to put 1 on each side. Oops, I'm off the camera. 1 on each side, and also 1 in the middle because I want to cover those staple ends over there. So these can certainly be glued on. Just got to hold that on there a little bit. Put 1 on the inside. And I'll do them both at the same time and just hold them together. Then once you do that, if you like to decorate it a little more, like I did on this one, you can, instead of a circle, you can punch out a flower. This one I did 2 sizes of flower, and I put a little pearl in the middle. So that was done with the Storybook Moments as well. Now, although the inside did have a pattern with a direction, where they all overlapped here, you really can't tell. But on the bottom, just so happens that we can see that little squirrel in there picking the acorn. And so it's not going to matter so much on the inside. And if you do stuff it with goodies or tissue paper or Easter grass, then it's not going to be seen in there anyway. So pick and choose accordingly. All right, so this is dry. I know we see this here, but I'm going to cover that with a little flour or something. So like I said, I have 3 staples there instead of 2 that I normally put. This side only has the 2 staples. Okay, and this way it covers the ends of those staples on the inside. It looks nicer, and especially for little fingers. If, you know, kids are handling it, I don't like them to get scratched if those ends are not as pinned down as they should be. So really cute. Hello, Joy and Nancy. Welcome. You can also use Brad. So, okay, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to show you one that I did. Yes, that is a good idea. Then the handle will swivel. Yeah, the one thing I thought of, if you did a single handle and it swiveled, if, you know, like if my little 4-year-old was carrying it, you know, it might swivel and things fall out, but like that certainly looks cute. So let me show you that. Nice lead in for me, Nancy. Thank you. Okay, so on this one, I used the plaid DSP, and I put 2 handles on, and I did put the brads there. So in the middle, I just cut down my circle a little bit. I put my circle over the ends, and then I just trimmed it to meet the top of the basket. So it's kind of like 2/3 of the circle. Okay, and I did the same thing on the inside with the pattern to match. And I put the brads on there. So yeah, so good thinking. There you go. Got that one. And then here's another one that I did with, again, it was Storybook Moments, the strawberry paper, and inside are the bunnies. So it's kind of cute, a little, somebody takes the treats out, they can see the bunnies on the inside. I used white as my highlight because I just thought it was a nice contrast to the boho blue. As much as I love boho blue, I thought it just highlighted that very nicely. And then I did a flower. That flower is actually from an old punch. Actually, no, we still have this punch, I think. I have a sticker on here like it's active. Okay, so never mind. I'll have to double check. But anyway, so I used the flowers from this punch here because it was much easier for me making all these baskets to do this rather than to die cut a bunch of flowers. So on here we can just put, grab my big tool and put one of these very pretty pearls in the middle. And I took white cardstock for my leaf. I took the leaf from here, from this punch, and I punched it with Old Olive at first. But it was just a little too dark. I didn't quite like that. It didn't seem to match so well. So what I did instead was I took some white cardstock and I colored over it. I'm just looking to see if I have the scrap around here. Probably not, but I took white cardstock and just did some, like a little wash over it with my light Old Olive Stampin' Blend marker. So it gave me that lighter color. And then I took the fine tip end and made those veins on there, you know, the firm tip, you know, the fine tip, not the brush tip. And then I thought it matched the leaves that are on the designer paper there too. Okay. Oh, Joy was thinking the same thing. Good. All right. Yep. You guys are thinking. You guys have great ideas. Great ideas. All right. So I'll just put that together quickly on the other side. And then I will just have to put my circles on the inside here a little bit later. Oop. Just putting there, or you could use glue dots, whatever. I'm leaving a little, I'm not putting glue all the way to the end so I have room to tuck in a leaf. All right, I'll have to do that later because I don't know where my scrap is. Maybe it's in my basket here with all my supplies. Wouldn't that be nice? Nope. That's okay. There's more where that came from. Easy peasy. All right, well, I have the pearls here. I'll put one of those on and I'll slip the leaf underneath later. And, you know, they don't have to both be the same. I can have 2 leaves on here if I wanted. Right? I thought the silvers are so cute. I'm going to have a hard time picking who's getting which basket. I plan on doing maybe all the same paper, just different colors to set my table with. So I did a different basket last year. One that had a magnet enclosed. It was, oh, let me get it. I see it over on my shelf. Hold on. I'll show you what I did last year. Okay, I did a variety of these, like pyramid baskets, triangle baskets, whatever. So this one I just tied with a ribbon. I slipped the ribbon underneath the designer paper on the bottom. And it was, this one didn't have a magnet on it, but then you can put your candies or whatever in there and close it up. And I tied it with the ribbon. Okay, so those were some on my table. And then some were here. I had some like this, and I used my little mini alphabet and that little tag punch for putting people's names on there. Lorraine wouldn't fit all the way across, so I just put Lore. So that was mine. I like blue. And this one I did put a little magnet on there to hold it closed. Okay, so I believe there's a video someplace on YouTube where I show how to make those. I will try to link that in the comments of this video here. So let me show you a couple others that I made. I'll have to lay them down so that you can see. If I did this one again with the 2 handles, I would make them thinner. I would go less than a 1/2 inch here and then maybe 1/2 inch on the cardstock. Because I think with the 2 handles, this is just a little, the proportion just isn't right to me. So, and there you go. And I would put a cute little something there. We have that. And then I showed you this one. Let me dump the candies out so they don't all spill. Taking one of those cute little ducks there. Can you see that? All right. And here's one in the Summer Splash, I believe this is. Right. So just tied a little bow on the corner there. That looks sweet too. And again, just to give you some perspective of the size, this one, I have 4 Ghirardelli chocolates in there, 4 Andes candies, 4 or 5 Hershey Kisses, and there's still room if you really wanted to stuff it. So it just kind of shows you the size there. All right, so there we go. And then, wait, do you see this? This is lots of fun here too. This one with a lid. Oh, look at that. It's like a little picnic basket. Okay. It will stick up just a little bit because of the fold in there, the scoring, but it's really, really cute. You'd have to lift that up there. Maybe this would be a perfect time to have that swivel handle too, so that you can maybe move it out of the way and get to the goodies, or just pour them out. Just have fun with it. So let me show you. We have a few minutes. I can show you how to make that lid. It gets a little, you need nimble fingers to kind of get it in there and get it glued. But if you don't mind, it's well worth it. Let me move these guys out of the way. And for doing that, for putting the brads in, I just used my 1/16 handheld punch to punch the end of the handle, and then I held it up against where I wanted it to be on the basket. With my pencil, drew a little dot in there, and then I came back and I punched it again so that I knew how to get my handles placed right where I wanted them. Okay, so we are going to, let's see, which one can I put a top on? I guess maybe should I put a top on this one? I guess that would be the one. Okay, well, that's going to be the one. Let me take another piece from my remaining 6x6. And let me get my measurements here. Now, this was I tweaked it a little bit from the demonstrator that I saw do this, and I'm forgetting off the top of my head who that was, but I will try to reference the person. A lot of these um, ideas go round and round, and I'm never sure who originated it, because I think this one gal got it from somebody else. Who knows if she got it from somebody else or it was her design. But anyway, it's nice to kind of reference back the person who you saw it from anyway. Okay, so I'm going to use this, and I will, I think, use the striped side for the top, just for that contrast. Otherwise, it might be just a little too busy, but you can go either way once you have it cut out. We're going to end up cutting a piece that looks like this, and it's going to have these tabs, and these are going to be the sides that flip up, and then these tabs will get glued on the inside here. So that's kind of where you have to be a little nimble in kind of holding that in there. And using liquid glue is helpful because you can adjust it and then just hold it until it dries. So that's the concept. Now, when I first made this, it was to these measurements, and I thought that tab was a little too narrow, that it might break easily. So I decided to make this centerpiece a little bit wider, to have a wider tab, because I was afraid of it ripping, especially if I give it to the kids, or adults can be a little rough on that too. Who knows? So I tweaked it so that it could fit better. So now let me see. Here are my notes. Oh, on my scribbles. I put the original ones down, and then I had to tweak it and tweak it again, how to rework it all. So we're going to start with 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. That much is easy. Okay, 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. Okay. Genealogy of a card. Yeah, there you go. All right. So now with the okay, it's wider this way, right? 3 3/4. So that's going to be the width of the basket. Okay, so we want to holding it with a 3 1/4 size up on top. We are going to score at 1/2 inch. Okay, so you're holding it tall, okay, the in vertical orientation. And then there's 2 2/3. Well, if I did this way, 1/2 inch, and then 2 2/3 over here, basically is a 1/2 inch on the other side. So rather than trying to remember 2 sets of measurements, I like to say, score a 1/2 inch on both sides. That's a lot easier for me to remember. Okay, so again, you're holding it the vertical direction. All right, eventually these are going to get cut off except for the tab in the middle. So what we have to do next is score the center, and we're going to be leaving a little bit wider than this in the center. So here's another one of my little scrap things here. So basically what we're going to do, let me kind of show you the thinking I had here. I'm going to rotate it the other way. So now you're holding it horizontal direction. The center of that is actually 1 1/8. I'm sorry, 1 7/8 is the center of this piece. Now we're not scoring it on the center. What we want to do is we're going to score it 3/16 to one side of center, and then 3/16 to the other side of center. So that's going to bring us to odd numbers, I know. 1 11/16. Okay. So you can count that out, or you can go to 1 7/8. Yeah, 1 7/8. and go 3/16 to the side. So 1, 2, 3. So on my ruler, it's that tiny line right before the 1 3/4. Okay, because 3/4 would be 12/16, right? So you can either just think of it as 3/16 off of the center, or you can remember 1 11/16. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the 1 7/8 center, and I'm going to add 3/16, 1, 2, 3. So now I'm at 2 1/16. So I told you it's crazy numbers, but it's going to give us a bigger tab in the middle that, in my opinion, is going to feel more stable, and it's still going to give enough room for opening. See, that's what I did here. If you could, I don't know if you could see in here, but I have a thicker piece in the middle. And it's still going to be thinner than the handle, so it's okay. It's going to open just fine. Oh, here's one that I didn't put the handle on yet. All right. So this is what we're going to have here. We're going to glue this on the inside. So, all right, now that I have all the score lines here, we're going to do a little cutting. We're going to cut away those 4 rectangles on each side, on each corner. One, 2. See, now I have a little bit thicker tab. And guess what? I'm going to tell you, don't throw those pieces away. You knew that was coming probably, if you know me. Okay, if you get enough of these, just line them all up and you'll get a cute little pattern, like it could be a border for your card. So imagine having a coordinating card for your basket. All right, so that's what we have. Okay, and that's going to be our lid for our basket. Now, if you have a corner rounder, okay, this one is retired again, but I love it. It's very handy to keep nearby. You can stick that in there and round off those corners, which I think makes it much nicer. All right. We have that there. And now, whichever direction, see, now you can play around with it and see which one you like. I don't know if I like the green. Olive, old olive. Okay, or let's turn it around and see if we like the other side. Experiment to see which one you like. And you might surprise yourself. What you thought you liked, you end up liking the other one instead. All right, time to vote again, guys. Love the best. Yes, doesn't it complete it nicely? Right, so I was thinking I might like the green, but now I'm thinking I think I like the floral. What do you think? Please vote in. Okay, the floral. Up it goes. Or, I'll show you the other one. Just flip the tabs the other way. Or the contrasting green lid. It really can go either way. I'm really at a loss. Okay, floral, 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 green, green. Oh my gosh, green, green, floral, floral, green, green. We're kind of tied here, right? It's hard to decide. It really, really is. Well, you know what's going to help me decide? Because you guys are all split. Maybe there's more floral. I don't know. I am going to do an alternate one. I'm going to do the green because this basket has the same pattern on the top. This basket has the same pattern on the top. So just to be different, I'm going to have an example where it's a contrasting pattern. All right. Okay, Lydia, flip a coin. Yeah. All right. Let me flip the paper. How about that? Let's see. I'm going to do the contrasting just so I have another example, because you know me, I like to show many different variations on the theme. Okay, so there we go. It doesn't look bad either way, right, guys? So now I'm going to just crease my lid so it will bend upward. I'm going to put adhesive on here. Again, this is where I like using the glue because I could get it in there, move it around to where I need it to be. And do both sides at once. Get it in there. And to do this, it might be easier to do it before you put the handle on, like I did on this one. But as you saw, this was kind of like a last minute decision here. All right, so I'm going to hold that and hold the other side. It's already getting a little sticky, so it shouldn't be long. Yeah. Need a little bit more in here. Now, the problem is my thumb is sticky and it's sticking to my thumb. Okay, like I said, it is going to stick up a little bit unless you kind of get in there and try to fold it down. But once somebody opens it, it's going to stick up anyway, but it looks cute. Cute that way. And you do want to make sure it's centered on your basket. I need to move it over just a little bit here. Okay, so there we go. There we go. Adorable, right? Oh, hi, Cindy. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. And that would look really cute with a little ribbon on there. One of my favorite ribbons. Oh my gosh. I use this all the time. It's this Petal Pink and White combo pack. I'm not sure if it's being discontinued or not, but I just love it. I love how it's not too wide. I love how it's has that pretty diagonal pattern on it, and it is soft and kind of silky. It's a nice weight, enough that you can tie it. And I kind of like it down there. Whatever, I'm going to just tie it first and then decide where I want to place it. And the Petal Pink color is really pretty too, but I am a sucker for white ribbon. It's just so versatile. All right, remember, here's my bow tying method. I take it, I go left over the right, and then tuck that through, and I pull it down. Now, the part that's down toward you, like if you're looking to see how it naturally goes, the part that's coming down toward you is where you want to make your first loop. And now, which direction you go around the loop is going to determine what direction your bow goes. I want this to go horizontally or the same as the way my initial wrap was. So I'm going to go clockwise, because clockwise is kind of, I'm going to call that the right way, the normal way. And so that means it's going to match the way I tied it the first place. All right. So if I wanted it to go the other direction, all right, so let's say I wanted this up on top here and I wanted it to go this direction, then you're going to go around counterclockwise. So I'm holding this part down. Let me start from the beginning one more time. Okay, start left over right and under and pull it down toward you. You're still going to make a loop with that part that's toward you, but you're just going to wrap this bow around counterclockwise because it's going to go in a counter or a different direction than the original part that you wrapped around. All right, so now it's going in the opposite direction. And just to be different, I think I'll leave it up there. Okay. Adorable, right? Let me just trim this to be similar size as the other one. And then we're good to go. Let's see, I didn't hold this properly. I was a little too rough with it. All right, there we go. Want to use glue dots in there, that's a good idea as well. But there we are. So I told you, don't throw these away, right? Again, mix and match them to make a border or an element on your card. Here's one that I did. See, I saved these from the other pieces, and I didn't glue these all down yet, but they just all went flying. Make a little pattern. Okay, yellow, blue, pink, alternating the floral and the stripe. Yellow, blue, pink. Okay, hold on. Sometimes a little eraser is helpful to hold those things on. Of course, it doesn't help. My fingers are sticky. Okay, put them all even, if you like. Have a nice little pastel card for spring, or mix and match them. Alternate the height, make it a little bit more random. You can see this one's a little shorter. You can cut them down different sizes. It could look a little more randomly placed, or they don't even have to all be straight. If you're worried about doing that, have some overlap. You've just a fun card. So there we go. Whatever, you get the idea, right? So save those pieces. Bam, you'll have another card that coordinates with your baskets. Let me bring those all back real quick. And I will, like I said, I will post a picture of my cheat sheet on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, then make sure you sign up for my mailing list. Or even if you are on Facebook, you should be on my mailing list, because you get notices of things. You get first notice of sales and my classes, things that are coming up. I will send some tutorials. That way you guys are a little bit of my VIPs for being on the list. Right, so you will get this as a PDF download, and I'll bring these guys back in. Do you have a favorite? Oh, thanks, Shirley. Glad you like those. Welcome, Patty. There we go. And like I said, put that cute little duck there. But any of these little critters will be cute. And I think I will put some of these little guys on the ones I put for my Easter table, just because it'll be so cute. And even the grown-ups, I think, will like it. Look at this sweet little one here. So just to give you an idea, I mean, the colors don't even have to totally match, but it's just really sweet. I mean, it could even look good on any of the colors. It could even look good on here, right? You could fill it with some little seeds, maybe a little seed packet for the grown-ups or the kids. Kids like to plant, right? So all these fun little guys here. The flowers are cute. You could just put them across, or whatever else, whatever die cuts you have, or just flowers or butterflies. Little butterflies sitting on the handle would be cute. So there we go. I hope you have fun with that. I hope you make some. Let me know how you make out. Always, share your photos with us. I'll be posting pictures of these in my next Facebook post. That way you can see them all up close and personal. And then you can show me your own versions too. Please share. Okay, don't be shy. If you like to see different versions, maybe you have different paper, you have different ideas. That's what it's all about, sharing and just enjoying what we do. Okay, so Joyce says birthday candles. Oh yeah, jelly beans. Absolutely. Put a little cellophane bag tied with a ribbon inside of the jelly beans. Yep. I just bought the Hershey Kisses because they're easy to throw in there. and maybe I'll make some to hand out for, like my regular postal worker, or somebody at the bank, or my favorite cashier when I go to the grocery store, whatever. You handle somebody a little something and they're like, surprised. They're like, oh, thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. Even if it's just a little thing that you think, oh, it's nothing. It means something to somebody when you give them a little gift and say thank you for what you do. Right. All right. So happy Friday, everybody. Thanks for hanging in a little bit longer. And thanks for joining on. Like I said, my computer was a little slow hopping on today, but I appreciate all of you coming and being part of our Friday, our weekend kickoff. And so just a couple things coming up. I am offering my mystery boxes again. I did it just before Christmas and it was a lot of fun. People enjoyed it. For orders of $50 or more, or for every $50 that you place an order with me, this is not a Stampin' Up! Thing, that's just me personally, then you will receive a mystery box of some goodies, kind of like a grab bag of stuff that I'm just kind of tossing into a nice box. Some of it, it could include a stamp set, it could include some dies, it could include DSP, embellishments, ribbons, things that might be started a little bit. It might have, 2/3 of a roll of a ribbon, or some embellishments that I use some of, but never really finished them all. Or it could be brand new, some things that I never even opened before. It could be a stamp set that has never been used. I have some of those, or they could be slightly used. I am very careful with my stamps, and if they're all in good shape. So I'm passing on some of my retired or retiring products to you in the mystery boxes that will be worth somewhere between $40 and $50. I'm not nickeling and diming it. I'm just stuffing things in there. So I hope you like that. $50, any increment of $50 order with me, but you have to use my host code. All right. And I will post that in my next post as well. All right. I don't have it in front of me right now, and I didn't put it on my banner. I didn't update that this morning. I got tied up with a phone call. So thank you so much, but you have to use that host code. All right. It starts with the number 7. So I'll show you that later. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. And reach out if you have any questions at all. All right. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye now.